Hi guys, it's me again, and today I'm going to be doing the Pretty Little Liars review. Yeah. So when the episode starts, Spencer, Emily, and Aria are in Hannah's kitchen because Hannah's mom just got arrested, and what confused me about it was that Spencer was like, "Oh, you guys can go ahead and leave," and I don't know, I was just really confused and a little suspicious about that, and I was like, why would Spencer want them to leave? I mean, unless she wants to ask Hannah something. I don't know. That just made me a little bit suspicious. But I think she was just trying to make sure that Aria and Emily get their sleep. But, yeah. And I thought it was so cute when Caleb was having their little phone conversation, which is Hannah and Caleb. I was like, oh, like, I love how their boyfriends are always supportive of them. Like, I don't know. I really love that about each one of them. So yeah, and then once they hang up, you see that Caleb's with Toby, and I'm just like, okay, are they just hanging out or what? And then they're like, let's do this thing, and you see that they created a map, kind of like the one they had at the police station, where everything connects. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're trying to figure out who A is, and I was like, yay, boy power. I don't know, I just thought that was so cute. I love their bromance throughout that whole episode. And I was like, well, at least they're trying. I mean, because I know Hannah wants Caleb, to stay out of the situation, but he can't. But yeah, I'm glad that Caleb and Toby are working together to find out who A is and get some answers. And then, when Hannah goes and visits her mom, I guess it's not for the first time, but, yeah, it's just like, that must be so horrible. I mean, first of all, you saw your mom get taken off to jail, and, one day your life's kind of okay. I mean, their lives aren't perfect since A is after them. And then the next day, everything is even worse, and I'm just like, I feel so bad for Hannah. Like, she doesn't deserve for any of her parents to go to jail. Just, And then they go to school, and, some boys are laughing at Emily, which I have no idea why. Or I guess they're laughing at Hannah. I'm really confused about that scene. But yeah, and then Hannah walks off, and Ezra starts talking to her, and I'm just like, why is Ezra talking to Hannah? I mean, they have nothing to talk about. I mean, Ezra is over now, so we shouldn't really be associating with them, because it makes Aria and him look bad. But I don't know, I thought it was nice that he cares about them, but at the same time I'm like, you should probably stay out of it. And then Mike, Aria's brother, gets caught, or at least, Connor, the guy that kissed Aria, he assumed that it was Mike, and I'm just like, you don't really have proof. I mean you don't have proof that it was him. It's just an assumption. And I'm like, how can you even try to expel or press charges against Mike when you don't even know who really did it? It's all based on accusations. Like, no. And then Emily is at the police station with her mom, and she decides to take Weldon's apartment key. And I'm just like, are you brain dead or something? Like, what? I was like, Emily, you tried giving the detective the CD, and you see how well that worked out, so why would you try to take the key? Like, I have no idea. That just completely confuses me. Yeah, and then, Aria's dad gets the phone call from the school saying that Mike's in trouble. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what are you gonna do with him? I'm like, I hope, like, when Aria told him the story about how Connor kissed her and there was a rumor, I was like, I hope he doesn't do anything, like, bad, I guess. I mean, I know he won't because he's the adult, so he has to act, appropriate. But I'm just like, I wonder if he's gonna, like, overreact or something. Which he never did, thankfully. And yeah, then they go back to Hannah, and Hannah's, visiting her mom in jail. Again, it's a different day. But yeah. And I mean, I just, like, Hannah's just had a really rough life ever since A came in the picture. Ever since A and Allison came in the picture. And I'm just like, why would A go this far? Like, I know A is out to ruin their lives and, you know, spread their secrets or whatever A is looking for, but A really went as far as to putting one of their parents in jail. Like, that just completely confuses me. I don't understand why A would do that. Oh, I thought it was really funny how, when Toby and Caleb went to the airport, I guess, to go see who the pilot was, it was like, pilot's John Smith, and Caleb's like, yeah, I'm Pocahontas. That was hilarious to me. I was just like, that was so funny. But I knew from the very beginning, like, once the guy was like, that's all the information I have, I was like, he seems really suspicious. Which he was, because right after they left, you know, he called A, or maybe Jenna, because, you know, in the end of the episode. So, I already knew he was suspicious. I was like, there's something not right about him. And yeah, and then Emily brings Spencer and Arya in on the idea that they should break into Wilden's apartment, which I know that's what they were going to do with the key. But I'm just thinking, do you know how much trouble all of you are in? Like, I mean, with that CD being on Emily's case and everything, I'm like, do you really think breaking and entering is going to help? Like, that's not going to help you. Oh, and when they, on a side note, when they were breaking and entering, I loved Arya's jacket. It was the black jacket she was wearing, and it was sparkling. I was just like, that is really cute. So I really liked where she got that from. And the phone rings while they're in Wilden's apartment, and I just thought this was the stupidest question. Arya's like, should we pick it up? And I'm just like, why would you pick up the phone in an apartment where the owner's supposed to be dead? Like, I just don't understand why they would pick it up. And I don't understand why they just stopped. I mean, I understand why they stopped in the first place, but after they realized it was just the phone, they should have just kept searching. And I'm like, you're wasting time. I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna do? Not answer it, so just keep on looking for whatever you're looking for. And then go back to the boys, and Toby's playing with the lighter that A left the day of the night of the fire. Yeah, and it always bothered me. I was always confused about why did the Northwest stand out so much. You know, they didn't have Southwest, Southeast, and all that, so I was like, there's only NW on it. Which, when they used their brains, they found out that NW could stand for Nigel, whatever his last name was. And I was just like, Caleb, you're so smart. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm really glad they're working together because they're both really smart, and I think they really could help take down A with their whole plan. And then Arya sees the box under Wilden's table, and she's like, have you guys checked there? And they're like, no. So, okay, I understand taking the box out from under the table and, you know, just checking out to see what it was, but then you open it, and I'm just like, do you not understand that you've already broken and entered into somebody's house? And, I mean, if the police were, like, looking into that box, you just tampered with evidence. Like, I'm pretty sure that the police have on note, well, maybe not, that whether or not it was opened. I'm just like, you just tampered with it. I just felt like they're really kind of careless about it. I felt it was just like, it's kind of a messy job. While I was watching Pretty Little Liars, I was also on Twitter, and, you know, when Hannah's crying, everyone's always like, when Hannah cries, we cry. And I'm like, that's so true, though, because just, Hannah's always crying in the worst situations. Like, she's crying for the worst reasons, and I'm like, no, don't hurt Hannah anymore. And, so then Mike has a meeting with the principal. You know, Arya's dad is there, and Arya's there too. And Ezra comes up, and he starts talking to Arya about Mike's situation. And I'm just like, the blinds are wide open right there in front of you, so you do know that you guys could get caught, and he could potentially get fired for it looking like he's supposed to be associated with Arya. So, I don't know. Ezra's kind of being careless about it. I'm like, you're not worried that you're going to get fired? I mean, the principal and her dad knows that you had a fling. I don't know. I mean, it's nice that he wants to be there for them, but at the same time, he's like, you can't. Like, what Arya said, you can't be the one who saves me. He can't. I thought it was just so awkward when her dad comes out, and he's like, oh, Ezra. And I'm like, I hope he doesn't, like, yell at him or anything. And he's like, Arya, you should go home. And I'm like, see, now Arya has to go home, and she can't hear what happens because Ezra showed up. I thought Byron was going to say more to him, but he really didn't. He just let Ezra walk off, and I was like, okay, glad nothing happened there. And then Caleb and Toby have that whole fight with the pilot, Nigel. Yeah. I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, he really tried to run though. And when Caleb popped the gate, I was like, woo! I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. It's just me. But yeah. And yeah, he gets away. But luckily, Caleb grabs his phone. Good job. That's why I also think it's good that him and Toby work together. Because Toby's really sneaky and Caleb's really street savvy, so they work out. Toby and Caleb get back to the apartment and Spencer's there and they're telling her about everything. And they find out something which has to do with Toby's mom, I think. Because Nigel was like, you should watch out for the blonde girl, her name's Cece. And Caleb's like, don't go making out behind me. And I'm just like, Caleb, they're not going to make out in front of you. Like, this is a crucial time. It's A time. Like, they don't get all lovey-dovey when it's A time. It's like, you don't have to worry about that. And he puts his earplugs in and everything, and I'm like, Caleb, is that really necessary? I don't think so. And then, you know, Emily, she can't sleep. She's, like, really restless in bed. And she gets a text, I think. Or I don't really remember how they got the note, but A sent the message and it was like, everything will come crashing down. And I was confused for a second, but then as soon as I thought about it, I was like, oh my gosh. Like the previews they've been playing for the past 2 weeks where the car crashes into the house, I was like, that's what she meant. It all comes crashing down. She means when the car drives into the house. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I hate it because, you know, the audience, us know, but Emily doesn't, and I wish she knew what it meant. I mean, luckily her mom didn't get hurt at all, so, yeah. I mean, her mom's just talking on the phone to her dad, and all of a sudden a car comes by. And what I don't get is, how does the car come crashing in, but there's no driver in it? I mean, unless they stopped, dropped, and rolled, but, I don't know, that confuses me. You know, Arya goes to Ezra's apartment to go thank him for helping Mike because he tells, you know, Ezra talks to the principal and is like, how can you accuse this person on assumption? Which is exactly right. Like, you can't accuse somebody if you don't have all the evidence. So, yeah. And so Arya goes to thank him and, you know, he's not at home, but when she turns around, he's just coming back from the grocery store. And, you know, she's like, I just wanted to thank you and blah, blah, blah. And just when they have those moments together, it really makes me miss Ezria. Like, I forget about it for a second, and I'm just like, you know, everything's okay. You know, they can just stay in distance. But then, when they're together, it just makes me really miss them. It makes me really sad that they're not together. Which, hopefully, in the end, they do get back together because they are seniors this year, so Arya will be turning 18, or, you know, so then they can legally be together. Yeah, and it really shocked me, which, yes and no, because like I said, I was on Twitter, so, and from the Pretty Little Liars Twitter, it was like, do you guys remember Nigel, or, you know, does he look familiar? And I was just like, I don't remember him at all. But everyone figured it out, and they were like, he was Jenna's date to the funeral, and I was just like, I mean, I didn't remember that, but if they remembered it, okay. But, yeah, so that turned out to be true, and he is associated with Jenna, and I'm just like, you can't trust anybody in that town. You can't trust anybody except the 4 Pretty Little Liars and their boyfriends. So yeah, comment what you thought about the show. I'd love to hear your opinions, and thanks for watching. Toodles!